Hey guys, it's Woody the Unexceptional Gamer, and this video is actually about the gameplay. I made this video about how sharpshooter was the best way to rank up, and man, I was right. If you missed it, there's an annotation on the screen. I talk about it in detail. It'll open in a new window. You can watch that one without missing this one. It kind of informs this one. But I've been playing a bunch of sharpshooter, and while I'm not the world's greatest player, you know, I win some, I lose some, but I thought a lot of people are so new to sharpshooter that maybe they'd like a little bit of advice. So here goes. The first thing, and something I'm doing right here, work the spawns, right? Working the spawns is gigantic. You know, I've seen a lot of people give advice that, you know, equates to know the spawns. And I think to myself, like, well, okay, that's good advice, know the spawns. But if I was giving you math help, I don't think I'd say, be really smart. You know, it helps to be super smart when you're doing math. There's a lot to it to knowing the spawns. So my best tip, if you're just trying to know the spawns, is if you just spawned, that's a spawn point. Be careful of it. Use it to your advantage. You know, there's a great spawn point back here, right? If you can find a spot where you can overlook a spawn or two and then stand in one, then you're in a really good spot. Where I just was, there's spawns next to both boats, and then if you stand behind that wall, people are unlikely to spawn right next to you. Call of Duty's not a perfect game, it'll happen, but by and large, they try not to spawn players right on top of each other. They try not to spawn players where you are looking, so you can't aim down sights at a spawn, usually, and expect them to pop in your sights. But, you know, if you just sort of go back and forth, a lot of times people will pop up at the spawn you just looked at a second ago, and you can do that and go back and forth. Knowing the spawns and, you know, just keeping in mind where you just spawned being a potential spot for your next kill is really helpful. And you can see what I'm going to try and do here is, you know, look there, get that guy, look to the other side because, you know, there's probably a guy just spawned by that boat, and then look at the other side, the guy spawned by that boat. It's a lot like free-for-all in that sense, in that, you know, that you can go back and forth, find people, and work the spawns. And you can see they're not really spawning right on top of me. There's because I'm there, but they're spawning, you know, everywhere else. And I get lucky and I get my favorite spawn right here. But anyway, knowing the spawns helps a lot. Knowing your gun. As the guns switch, take a peek in the bottom right. Oftentimes that'll help you. Sometimes it doesn't because there are things like select fire that can make a gun behave differently. But, you know, if you see that thing up there and it's the Chi-Com, that, you know, SMG that shoots in bursts, it's good to know that. If you see it up there and it's like a scar, or if it's, you know, whatever, you can learn a lot just by keeping an eye on that gun in the lower right. It sounds like an obvious piece of advice, but to tell you the truth, a lot of times I would just look at the gun itself and wouldn't always instantly, like, I like guns in real life, I'm into them, but I'm not at a stage where I can look at the side of a gun and instantly identify every one of them. But if I peek in the lower right, a lot of times that gives me clues on how to play the gun well. For me personally, I tend to do well in this game when there's guns being used. I tend to do poorly when there's something other than guns being used. I'm not bad with a war machine, sometimes that goes my way, but it's like I build up a little lead and maybe I'm winning this game, and then we switch to, like, I don't know, rocket launchers, and I start to suck with them because I never use rocket launchers. Or we'll switch to things that I don't use very often, like the executioners, which leads me to another point, something I mentioned in the previous video. Unlock your guns. Unlock your guns. That's huge in this game. You might think to yourself, like, I bet if you don't play sharpshooter very much, if you're not using this, you know, my tips and stuff, you might not have the executioner unlocked because it's a terrible, terrible pistol that you'd never want to use if you're trying to do well in a video game. But if you're trying to rank up in a video game, those stupid executioners pop up in sharpshooter almost every single game. So have them unlocked so that you can get the challenges for them. If you don't have stuff unlocked, then you won't get the challenges out of them. Another little tip that I should have mentioned before as I was talking about taking a peek at the weapon, look for the noob tube. If there's a noob tube on the gun, being the first guy to observe that and, you know, use the noob tube instead of the bullets might give you an advantage if you're good with tubes. Personally, I think I'm actually better with bullets. Sometimes I switch to noob tubes thinking that I'm, you know, I figured something out first and I'm doing great. And that's true for a lot of people, but for me, I kind of suck with noob tubes. I never used them that much, so I didn't really build up my noob tube skills. But if you have, then, you know, keeping an eye on the weapon that you've got on there can help you a lot. The last thing I wanted to point out there before this video ends is don't underestimate the value of a streak. It's a really big deal to have your streak going. Every kill counts as 2. So, you know, instead of getting 10 points, you get 20. And instead of getting 20 for a headshot, you get 40. And I think some things, like shotguns or something, maybe one-shot kills, they get you 20 points anyway. So, you know, in a case like that, you're getting 40s for everything. It is a big deal to keep your streak going, and it's sometimes worth it to deal with less traffic to get your streak compared to, you know, going even and finding 10 guys. You're better off, you know, going flawless and finding 7. That's what I'm trying to say. So you can see I didn't win this game, and even though I got the most points, because that guy kept his streak going. He played really smart. I got more kills and maybe fewer deaths, I don't remember. But this is the other cool thing. Look at this. I'm going to get 33,000 XP. That's a lot. I've been having people tweet me that are getting 50,000 XP. One guy got 85,000 XP in this game in 1 round, and it's only a 5-minute game, so that's a ton. It's double XP, but still, there's no faster way to rank up than this right here, so I thought that I would throw out some tips on how to do well. Have a good day. Be sure to hook me up with a like. I always appreciate it. If you're new around here and you enjoyed the vid, click subscribe in the top right. On the left, I talk about machinima layoffs and I answer a bunch of your questions. On the right, it's the sister video to this one where I give more tips on playing this game mode and ranking up and stuff like that. So have a good day.